Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, nice to meet you in this video. My name is Dina Rahmah from the English Education Department of 5C class at the State Islamic University of Sultan Syarif Qasim Riau, Pekanbaru. In this video, I will show you the subject collecting quantitative data as a movement of the core achievements, research and development in ELT. So, happy watching! Collecting quantitative data. The process of collecting quantitative data consists of more than simply collecting data. You decide on what participant you will study. Then you obtain their permission to be studied. You identify the types of measures that will answer your research question. And you look at the instrument to use. And on collecting quantitative data, there are 5 steps in the process of quantitative data collection. This process involves more than simply getting information. It includes interrelated steps. It involves the steps of determining the participant to study, obtaining permission needed from several individuals and organizations, considering what types of information to collect from several sources available to the quantitative research, locating and selecting instruments to use that will need useful data for the study, and finally, administering the data collection process to collect data. Identify how to select participants for a study. The first step in the process of collecting quantitative data is to identify the people in place you plan to study. This includes determining whether you will study individuals or entire organization, example schools, or some combination. If you select either individuals or organization, you need to decide what type of people or organization you will study and how many you will need for your research. These decisions require that you decide on a unit of analysis, the group and individuals you will study, the procedure for selecting these individuals, and assessing the numbers of people needed for your data analysis. And then, identify the permission needed for a study. After identifying and selecting participants for your study, you next need to obtain their permission to be studied. This permission will ensure that they cooperate in your study and provide data. Besides cooperation, their permissions also acknowledge that they understand the purpose of your study and that you will treat them ethically. Federal legislation requires that you guarantee them certain rights and that you require their permission to be involved in your study. List different options for collecting information. With the identification of participants and a procedure for gaining permission, you next turn to the specific forms of data that will help you answer your research question or address your research hypothesis. The step involves identifying the variables in the question and hypothesis, finding definition for these variables, and considering types of information that will help you assess these variables. The next step is locate, select, and assess an instrument for use in data collection. Let's assume that you will collect performance, attitudinal, or observational data. These forms of data collection all involve using an instrument. What instrument will you use to collect your data? Do you find one to use or develop one yourself? If you select for one to use, how will you look at this instrument? When you find the instrument, what criteria will you use to determine if it's a good instrument to use? And the last step is describe procedures for administering quantitative data collection. The actual process of collecting data differs depending on the data and the instruments or document you use. However, to display a standard across all forms of data and to deserve attention, the use of standard procedures and ethical practice. So for the conclusion, the process of data collection involves more than simply getting information. It includes 5 interrelated steps. It involves the steps of determining the participant to study, obtaining permission needed from several individuals and organizations, considering what types of information to get from several sources available to do quantitative research, locating and selecting instruments to use that will need data for the study, and finally, administer the data collection process to collect data. Okay everyone, thank you for watching this video until the end. I hope that the material presented in the video is useful for you and me. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. Albert Einstein. I'm Dina Nafsirul Rahmah. You could contact me on my Instagram account or by email. So for any mistake, have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.